Hello there, Lake County Library. This is Christy Lewis from the Lakeport branch, and today I'm bringing to you a book haul of brand new historical fiction. Just so that you know, you can order any of these books for free down below. We have all of them listed with their titles and authors, and you can just copy and paste them straight into the library catalog, which is also linked down below. Our website is also linked down below, and there's a lot of really cool free resources on there, so definitely check it out. So let's jump in. First of all, we have The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn. This is already a New York Times best-selling World War II history tale by the best-selling author of The Rose Code, and it's based on a true story. In 1937, in the snowbound city of Kiev, a wry and bookish history student, Mila Pavlichenko, organizes her life according to her library job and her beloved son. But Hitler's invasion of Ukraine and Russia sends her on a different path. She transforms herself from a studious girl into a deadly sniper, a lethal hunter of Nazis known as Lady Death. She's brought to Washington, D.C. on a goodwill mission where she meets Eleanor Roosevelt and another person who really give her future a chance of happiness. But there's a deadly new enemy waiting for her there. So if you already feel as invested in Mila's story as I do, definitely check out the book down below. The Diamond Eye is also available as an ebook, audiobook, play away, or book on CD, or large type, and it was published by William and Morrow in 2022. Next, we have Bloomsbury Girls by Natalie Jenner. This was named a most anticipated book for 2022 by Pop Sugar, Women.com, Katie Couric Media, the CBC, the Globe Mail, BookBub. Apparently everybody knew that this book was coming out and was excited to read it. Natalie Jenner is the internationally best-selling author of The Jane Austen Society, and she's now returning with a story of post-war London. Bloomsbury Books is a century-old bookstore that has survived and thrived while pressing against the tides of society, resisting change. But everything really is changing now in 1950, especially books and publishing. The women who work in this shop have plans. Vivian Lowry is single since her aristocratic fiance was killed in action in World War II. And she has a long list of grievances from her workplace, starting with the head of fiction, Alex McDonough. Grace Perkins, on the other hand, is married and has 2 sons, and she's having a hard time balancing her commitments to her family versus her own dreams because she's just been working to support her family after her husband had a mental breakdown. Eva Stone is among the first class of females to graduate from Cambridge, but she was denied an academic position in favor of a less qualified male. So as these women interact with various literary figures of their time, they're out to create a better future for themselves. If Bloomsbury Girls sounds good to you, you can order it for free down below. It's also available on ebook, audiobook, and book on CD, and it was published in 2022 by St. Martin's Press. Next, we have The Wedding Dress Sewing Circle by Jennifer Ryan, which was just read by someone in our library book club, which, by the way, if you want to join the library book club, you can just email Amy Patton at the library and she will add you to our Zoom group. The Wedding Dress Circle is from the best-selling author of the Chilbury Ladies Choir, and this is a heartwarming novel based on true events. In it, we're following 3 plucky women who lift the spirits of the home front brides in Britain, where rationing has left little opportunity for pomp or celebration, even at weddings. So when the renowned fashion designer Cressida Westcott loses her home in the London Blitz and she removes to a quaint rural village, she's not really sure how she's supposed to get her career back and running. She has to return home to where her brother was not welcoming to her in the past. So she's hoping that her niece and nephew will be more welcoming. And in fact, her niece, Violet Westcott, is thrilled to welcome her famous fashion designer aunt to come stay with them. But she's a little upset because she's been conscripted and it's like, how am I going to attract an aristocratic husband while I'm wearing this dumpy uniform? Meanwhile, the local vicar's daughter asks Cressida for help repairing her mother's gown, which is her only chance for a white wedding. But Cressida has much more to teach the local sewing circle than just simple sewing skills. They dedicate themselves to help the whole country celebrate love by mending wedding dresses for all. That really does sound very heartwarming. If the Wedding Dress Sewing Circle sounds good to you, you can get it for free down below. It's also available on ebook, audiobook, and in large type, and it was published by Ballantine Books in 2022. Next, we have Little Souls by Sandra Dallas, and this one is actually classified as a mystery, but since it's a historical setting, I figured it would probably qualify for this video as well. It's set in Colorado in 1918 when not only is World War I raging, but there's an epidemic of the Spanish flu raging on the home front, and it's very deadly. Every night, horse-drawn carriages collect corpses that have just been left on the street. Sisters Helen and Ludi have just moved to Denver after their parents' death. Helen, a nurse, meets a doctor as a beau, and Ludi, a carefree advertising advisor, designer at a department store, meets a young student who soon after enlists, so she's keeping her eye on the war front, hoping that he will come home safely. They also have a rental apartment to bring in some income, and when their renter dies from the flu, they end up watching over her little girl. But one day when Ludi comes home from work, she finds that a man is dead on the threshold of their house, and her sister is standing over him with an ice pick. So she is just absolutely sure that she killed him in self-defense, but that's going to be kind of hard to prove. So they hope that he can just be disguised as a Spanish flu victim. I don't think that works out though, because then the book says that there's a murder investigation. So we have the murder investigation, the Spanish flu, and the war front going on in this book. Sounds like a lot of action and danger. If it sounds good to you, you can order it for free down below. Little Souls is also available on ebook, audiobook, and book on CD, and it was published by St. Martin's Press in 2022. Finally, we have The Last White Rose, a novel of Elizabeth of York by Alison Weir, who is very big in the historical fiction scene. The New York Times best-selling author is this time exploring the turbulent life of Elizabeth, who was the first queen of the Tudor dynasty, and it's supposed to be superbly engaging and readable. Elizabeth of York is the oldest daughter of Edward IV. Very beautiful and beloved by all due to her sweet nature. But her life is disrupted when her father dies in the prime of his life, and his uncle takes the throne by killing Elizabeth's two younger brothers, who are thereafter known as the Princes in the Tower because they were never seen again. And it is theorized that Richard III, who is taking over the throne here, actually killed the princes. Now Elizabeth is the subject of Richard III's ambition to legitimize his reign further. But as if in a fairy tale, she is saved at the last minute by Henry Tudor, who defeats Richard III at the legendary Battle of Bulworth Field. He then makes Elizabeth his wife, the first Tudor queen. Their marriage is happy and fruitful, uniting the houses of Lancaster and York. One of their offspring, Henry VIII, will rule the country for the next 36 years. If The Last White Rose sounds good to you, you can get it for free down below. The Last White Rose is also available on ebook and in large type, and it was published in 2022 by Ballantine Books. That is it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this book haul. Let us know down below if you're going to order any of these books or if you have any questions. We really love to hear from you. Talk to you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.